I'm John Ratzenberger. On this Made in America, we stretch things out in Hot Springs, Arkansas in Alliance rubber bands. Then we close a hot case in Pelican products in Torrance, California. And finally, we try on a few house coats in Benjamin Moore paint. I've been all over this great country, in small towns and big cities, visiting factories and workshops, searching for the soul of America. And you know what? I found it everywhere. So sit back and relax, because we've got it made in America. About 20 freeway miles south of Los Angeles is Torrance. It's a city valuable for its proximity to everywhere in Southern California, including the ports and Los Angeles International Airport. One Torrance company is famous for a product that gets around every bit as much as cars and planes. Pelican cases are taken wherever toughness and durability are more important than designer labels. Today, about 500 people work at Pelican, which was founded the way a lot of great American companies were, by accident, more or less. The founder is Dave Parker, Pelican's president and CEO.
I've been a diver my entire life, and I had this float that I designed from a hockey stick handle. And Arlene, my wife, said, why don't we make those and sell a mail order? So that's exactly what we did. We started a mail order business in 1973 for the floats.
Tinkering around, Dave soon invented an indestructible flashlight, unlike other indestructible flashlights in one key way. It was really indestructible.
I made these lights for my friends, and I gave one to my next door neighbor who had a son-in-law that was a lieutenant colonel in the Special Forces stationed at Fort Bragg. About a month later, I get a call from a guy named Bob. Wouldn't tell me his last name. Wouldn't tell me anything except that he was in a special unit of the United States military. He wanted to buy 2,000 of these. I said, 2,000? You're out of your mind. Make a long story short, the next day he showed up in a plane, unmarked jet plane at Torrance Airport with $43,000 in a brown paper bag and said, may I have a receipt, sir?
Pelican now makes 40 different kinds of portable lights, all of them designed to be impervious to almost everything.
Here's one that a fireman carried, sent it back, was in a flashover fire. We have an unconditional, you break it, replace it forever guarantee. Here's a sample of some of the lights that we've totally burned up in a fire. Still working.
So first there were diving floats, then came flashlights. As it turns out, the road to indestructible multi-purpose cases was just as serendipitous. It began when Dave built some waterproof boxes into which he put first aid kits for divers. A dive shop owner called to order 24 of them, but said don't bother with the first aid.
But it didn't take a Harvard graduate to figure out our market. Thus, we have almost 50 sizes of Pelican cases.
Whether it's a case or a flashlight or anything else, every Pelican product begins on the computer's drawing board. From there, it's thrust into the third dimension on something called the Rapid Prototyping Machine. John Hoven is Pelican's engineering VP.
John, I think your copy machine's a little busted here. It's already put
Oh, no, that's making parts like this, John. What we're doing here is making prototypes. And we can check the form, fit, and function of various components by running it off the design.
Wait a second. This machine is making this?
Exactly. What it's doing, it's going across, it's kind of like cookie dough, and it's spraying on it.
The white bit?
Yes, and it's making it solid by gluing the pieces together.
So when it comes this way, it lays another layer of cookie dough.
All the way over it. It's gluing it together.
And then when it passes this way, it lays down the glue in the shape of this.
And it keeps growing it, growing it, and growing it in different layers, and pretty soon you've got the finished prototype.
Coming up on Made in America, you won't believe how hard this Pelican lands. Then stick around to see the more in Benjamin Moore. Welcome back to Pelican, which makes carrying cases that are all but indestructible. What makes Pelicans unique is the ferociously durable material, composed of a space recipe that the company is naturally a little hesitant to give out.
And this is a specially formulated pellet. It's a mixture of polyethylene, polypropylene, and one other ingredient that's part of our patented process.
What turns those pellets into Pelican products is injection molding, which is done in machines named for creatures that might be stronger than what comes out of them. There are more molds than there are machines, so they're moved into place by crane. The process isn't much different from the way bakers squeeze out icing onto cakes through a pastry bag.
This is a mold that weighs about 25,000 pounds. The liquefied plastic squirts in this hole. Some of it goes in, fills that half of the cavity. This runner goes over here, fills a couple of nameplates. This runner goes in and fills a handle.
No, it's not magic, but it sure seems magical.
That picker will go down, pick that finished part, top and bottom. This happens to be a military case we're molding. All right, I'm gonna bring it over here, drop it down here. This case has gone from about 500 degrees to about 120 degrees in about a minute.
Any leftover plastic is gathered up for grinding and recycling. Some of the scraps have a special quality.
We call them here at Pelican, we call them cow pies.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
These are the purge material. When you
can hang
purge
that
the
on a wall.
machine. Now, if you put this in the New York Museum, that would probably bring 10 grand right here.
Oh, there you go. Bingo. That's it.
Let's call this heart transplant.
The finished case is trimmed and drilled.
Now here's the drilling jig. It's pneumatically controlled. Everything's automatic. Drills about 10 holes simultaneously. And those are all the latch and the handle holes.
Stainless steel pins are tapped into the hinges. And the gasket fitted into place will keep water out.
He's got it assembled. Label goes on it, which is removable. Goes in a box, is sealed, goes on a pallet, ships out the door. Time elapse, 3.5 minutes.
That's right. 3.5 minutes is all it takes to go from nothing to something special. You can't even fill your car with gas in that short of time.
What kind of store would have this on the shelf? Where would you go to buy your product?
Every photography store in the world sells our cases. The military puts everything in it, industrial people. A lot of people use them as coolers for picnics and things, especially our employees that get them free.
Pelican will even get personal, if you like.
This is part of our private label program. We actually monogram cases for people. We put foil through the machine, heats that up, and then we hot stamp this.
In factories, there's testing, and then there's testing. Here, testing takes a sharp eye and a steady hand. Or just a driver's license. Or maybe a sense of the dramatic.
Oh, that was a good one. Now let's see.
What do we have in there?
Okay, I don't know what we have in here. I hope it's not eggs. Let's see. What do we got in there?
Oh, it's Grandma's vase.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Now that's a Tiffany vase that's been ripped off in China.
Boy, it's beautiful. That's got to be worth. That's probably $400,000 or $500,000.
Yeah, I would. Oh my God!
How does the saying go? You break it, you buy it.
It's okay. I'll take care of it. Hey, real good art here. $5, $10. Best offer. Art here. Get your art. Couple of bucks for this one. Hey kids, how about some art? Take home to